Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. Ladies and gentlemen, I am James Yoder, the king of Michigan football media. We are 24 hours or less, depending on when you're watching this, away from Michigan invading South Bend to take on the number 12 Fighting Irish. We've got 13, 14 rumors for you today. I can't remember the number. We're going to get into these bad boys so you know all the information you need going into this big matchup in South Bend. First one up, Shaun Crawford competing for a starting quarterback job, a former Michigan recruit. Did he tear his ACL this week in practice? Unfortunately, this is FACK. It is a fact that he did tear his ACL, and what that means is that Notre Dame is down another player, that they are going to even be more thin from all the personnel losses they had in the offseason, from all the potential suspensions that they've got on their team that we'll talk about in just a few moments. You see Matt Freeman coming out on Twitter saying Notre Dame DB Shaun Crawford tore his ACL in Tuesday's practice. We all remember Shaun Crawford, one of the big recruits in Michigan's 2015 class, decommitted during the disastrous 2014 season. Did not come back into the fold when Jim Harbaugh took over as head coach of the University of Michigan Wolverines. Tore his ACL in 2015 with the Irish, and now has torn it again for the 2018 season, his redshirt junior year. So he is out for the entire season. Won't see him this weekend versus Michigan. Best of luck to Shaun. From what I've heard, he's an excellent young man. So on to rumor number 2. Is Karan Higdon. Did he get injured last weekend? We all know Tariq Black, as we reported last Saturday, got injured last week in practice, but did Higdon also get injured? I am calling this one fake news. So what people were putting out there at the internet is that Tariq Black and Rashawn Gary and Karan Higdon were all injured, and they're all going to miss the game versus Notre Dame. It turns out the Higdon thing was fake news, and he actually called it out as fake news. He's like, I don't know where this junk starts from. I wasn't hurt at all. He was active and in uniform at the open practice on Sunday, and with the fake news that's out there, people putting things on Twitter, you've always got to come to the truth, the fair balance Michigan Football Report with James Yoder. Follow me on Twitter at James T. Yoder to know whether something is fake, whether something is a fact, whether it's a bunch of malarkey, and that's what we're going to do. So Karan Higdon will be your starter for Michigan against Notre Dame at the running back position. Of course, he is going to split some carries with Chris Evans. True Wilson coming in there at number 3 on the depth chart to give Michigan a formidable running attack. Really, I think Higdon and Evans is the best 1-2 combo Michigan's had in a number of years, so keep an eye out for him. Completely healthy. Don't listen to the message boards, the blog boys. They're putting out fake news, certainly Twitter. You got to come to me when it comes to whether things are fake or fact. What does fake or fact mean, James? What are these Harbaugh heads? Well, if you haven't watched the show before, I want to give a quick explanation. 0 Harbaugh heads means it's totally false. Fake news. 1 Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. 2 Harbaugh heads means people are talking 50-50, nothing confirmed. 3 Harbaugh heads means it's pretty likely. And if we get the 4 Harbaugh heads, ladies and gentlemen, that means it's FACK, fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That is how we spell it here at Chat Sports, the Michigan Football Report, presented by Mizzen & Main. Not really presented today, but they are my clothing sponsor. If you want to look as good as James Yoder does on this show, make sure you get a Mizzen & Main shirt. Comfortable.af is their website. The most comfortable performance fabric dress shirts. I was filming a show yesterday, sweat my butt off. You couldn't even tell because Mizzen & Main's performance fabrics keeps all the sweat in. It really feels great. Check out this bad boy. I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes, so you better keep watching. You want to get one of these coats? Do you want to be the talk of the town when you're wearing a sports coat lined with the maize and blue? Keep watching the show. I'm going to reveal where this coat is from and how you can get it here in a few minutes. All right. Is a walk-on the third string running back for the University of Michigan? Well, we teased you with the depth chart just a few moments ago, but I can actually say this is FACK, that True Wilson, who we started talking about over the spring into the summer. Jim Harbaugh has confirmed that he is the number 3 running back on Michigan's depth chart going into the game against Notre Dame. Now, there are a number of freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores, guys like Omari Samuels, and some others that are going to compete for this number 3 job throughout the season. But going into this game, True Wilson is your guy. I do expect him to maybe get a carry or 2, potentially not, depends on how the game goes. But if they do need somebody, if Chris Evans or Karan Higdon needs a spell, they need a running back in the game, True Wilson will be your guy. Former walk-on from the state of Michigan, an electric player, really, undersized, under-recruited, came to Michigan, now has earned his spot as the number 3 running back, and I believe Jim Harbaugh just gave him a scholarship for this season, but I have not completely confirmed that just yet. All right, so Going on from there, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the wide receiver crew. So a lot of rumors out there about Nico Collins. This tweak black not even matters. This injury not affect Michigan at all. Well, I'm giving it one Harbaugh head that he was the number one wide receiver even before the tweak black injury. Now, I told you last week about the different setups that Michigan has on offense, specifically from the shotgun set, where Black and Collins will be the outside receiver, giving Michigan the flexibility to put a guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones, just an electric player who could potentially be dynamite in the slot at that slot position. And that is because Collins is having an excellent spring, an excellent summer, and an excellent fall, and was just making plays, really developed into a heck of a player. And so that's a good thing. Now, to say he was better than Tweak Black, who was the number one wide receiver coming into Michigan last year, started the year as the number one wide receiver, or the best receiver on the team from last season, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think is a little ridiculous. I haven't heard it from anyone factual. It's a lot of just innuendo, and I think sometimes people want to make people feel better by saying, oh, it's not going to matter. Collins is the number one guy. Regardless, he was better than Tweak Black. He is better than Donovan Peoples-Jones. Out of the state of Alabama, longtime Michigan lean, ended up committing towards the end of signing day. Alabama didn't offer him, so Michigan stole one if he turns out to be the gem that some people are calling him, and having that kind of camaraderie with Shea Patterson, especially on those jump balls inside the 20-yard line. So you see him getting the starting job. I put my depth chart out just yesterday, so keep an eye out for that if you haven't looked at it yet on what Michigan's offense looks like going into this game. We put the depth chart out on YouTube and Facebook Live just yesterday. What is this jacket you got, James, on? Tell me about it. People are commenting, great looking jacket, man. Where's it at? Reveal Suits. Pre-order. You cannot buy this bad boy yet. We are 14 days somewhere out there now. Yeah, I'm not going to give the date away yet, but just know that if you email them there, say, I want the Michigan jacket that I saw on the internet, I saw from James Yoder, whoever you say, just email Info Suits. You can have $100 off this bad boy in the pre-sale, but it doesn't last long. By the time Michigan plays their third game, this deal will be gone. You're going to be paying full price. So email them now. Reveal Suits. They're about to launch. This is going to be amazing. I am wearing this in South Bend. It is going to be the bomb. I cannot wait to talk to people about it. Show everybody where they can buy this bad boy suit. Has Notre Dame suspended their starting running back? Is Notre Dame, will they be down after they lost their phenomenal running back to the NFL who went pro, but I don't believe even got drafted? Will he be out of the picture come tomorrow in South Bend? I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a complete source on this. I haven't talked to anybody actually from Notre Dame to confirm, but all the rumors out there and some good source on this say that Dexter Williams, their starting running back, who was really like the number 3 guy last year, is going to be suspended for maybe even the first 4 games of the season. So 3 Harbaugh heads on this one. If this is true, if Williams is out for this game, I think this is just another thing. Along with the Sean Crawford injury, Notre Dame will be down another player. They will be, already decimated by losses to the NFL. Had a number of guys, I think 4 guys on offense leave early last year. A quarterback that's throwing 49% completion last season. This is I don't want to take advantage of someone's suspension, but it's certainly a good thing for Michigan. Glad it's not an injury or anything like that, but he will most likely not play. So keep an eye out for that at game time. Not giving an FACK just yet, but Dexter Williams, all the rumors out there saying he will not play, suspended for the first 4 games. Notre Dame's going to have to put out their second, third running back against Michigan. All right, want to give you guys the opportunity to predict the score to this game and win $25. Now, get the comments below, Facebook Live and YouTube. Comment there, give us the score. Let the other people see how smart you are by predicting the score accurately. But if you want to win $25, you got to DM me on Twitter what your score is before kickoff on Saturday, of course, at James T. Yoder. If you DM me and you're the first one to predict your score, I'm giving one person $25. So unfortunately, if 20 people predict the same score, only get to pick one, but that almost never happens. Predict the score, send me a DM. I will respond back to you, tell you I got it. If you pick the score, $25 straight from James Yoder to your pockets for being the smartest Michigan football fan out there. Appreciate it. DM me, and we'll get that bad boy going. Rumor number 6 has Brandon Wimbush been struggling in practice, folks. This is a big story to kind of just keep your eye on going in tomorrow, because I think there is a chance that Wimbush could be pulled at some point in the game. Giving it 3 Harbaugh heads, but from everything we've heard, 49% completion last year, which, by the way, is like 5% worse than John O'Corn threw last season is that Wimbush still is not able to make some very simple throws like a 5-yard slant to an open wide receiver. And as such, Brian Kelly is preparing to play multiple quarterbacks tomorrow. Remember, this is a guy who was the quarterback of, at one point, the number 3 or 4 team in the country last season. He is continuously struggling to make the right plays. He was a big-time recruit. He got the job after a quarterback went early to the NFL that they maybe weren't expecting. But look at those stats. 49% completion rate, 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So more of a game manager who doesn't manage the game very well. Doesn't have a ton of turnovers. But nevertheless, I think Michigan's defense should be on a feeding frenzy. Don Brown's defense of pressing at the line really plays strength into what would be Wimbush's potential weakness. And so keep an eye out for that one. If they pull him, I think that spells very well for Michigan and the Michigan defense, and if they can get this win. Speaking of quarterbacks, I just put money. I'm not joking with you here. I put $20 on it to win something like $300. It's crazy the money I'm on Shea Patterson. Now I just put more money on Michigan tomorrow because the line favors them so greatly. They were a 2.5, 3-point favorite a few weeks back. Some money starts coming in heavy on Notre Dame. Shea Patterson is named starter, but then Tariq Black gets injured. 1.5-point spread. I want you to, if you're going to bet in this game, do with our partner, BetDSI. We're going to give you a promo code GOBLUE. That's right, promo code GOBLUE. You get a 120% cash deposit bonus. So make it simple for you folks who don't like math. You put $100 down, you get $120 that's sitting there in your account. Imagine you open a bank account with $100, and all of a sudden you got $220 sitting in there total. $100 from you, $120 from them. 120% cash bonus. GOBLUE is the promo code. Chatsports.com/bet. The only place I place my bets this football season, and I recommend that you do the same if you're going to bet on Michigan football, of course. Rumor number 7, will Michigan and Nebraska be rivals crossing over divisions with Big Ten, the inter-division play? Well, look at this one, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan, the Big Ten released the schedule through 2025. So I believe we're calling this one an FACK, of course, because they put the schedule out. But the Big Ten released their schedules for the seasons 2022 through 25 that weren't released, and Michigan is playing cross division with Nebraska every single year. And what the Big Ten did is that, and I guess we only give it 3 Harbaugh heads. We're not going to know if it's going past the year 2025. But Michigan will be playing Nebraska every year from now through 2025 across division. Now, if they kind of raise back up to the level of Nebraska of the 90s and 80s and 70s, that's going to be a heck of a tough game. Ohio State actually maybe got the worst of it. They have to play Wisconsin every single year. Penn State, Michigan State got the best of it. They got some bottom dwellers on the other side of the division. So this is going to be Michigan's crossover game for the next 8 seasons, counting 2018. You see, there's going to alternate. Nebraska comes to Michigan with head coach Scott Frost later this month, in the month of September. So keep an eye out for what Nebraska is. It's going to be a team I'm going to pay a lot more attention to going forward, knowing that the next 7 seasons we're going to have to play them every single year. I actually am looking forward to making a trip to Memorial Stadium out there in Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, rumor number 8. Was the Eagles RPO something that Jim Harbaugh himself bragged about in interviews following the Super Bowl, something that he wants to emulate and implement, and maybe people think, myself included, that we will see tomorrow in South Bend? Was it inspired by Jim Harbaugh? Well, maybe not the entire thing, but 3 Harbaugh heads on this one. It's pretty likely, because their head coach actually came out and said when he was offensive coordinator at the Chiefs a few years back, that when Alex Smith came over from the 49ers, when they went with Colin Kaepernick as their starting quarterback, that he had all these different offensive philosophies about how he could fit best in Andy Reid's system. Now their offensive coordinator now is the head coach at the Eagles, and so they implemented this run-pass option that Jim Harbaugh taught Alex Smith and implemented with the San Francisco 49ers. So Jim Harbaugh giving the Eagles a lot of credit, but it might be credit that was due to himself, with their head coach saying, hey, I learned about this offense, this offensive system from you, Jim Harbaugh. So with that being said, I think it shows that Jim Harbaugh is not as stuck in his ways as some people want to think he is, and he can adapt. He's the only quarterback or coach in modern NFL history that I know of that took a running spread option quarterback, took him to the Super Bowl. So keep an eye out for that offense tomorrow. It's the most exciting thing I'm going to be looking for this game. What does Michigan do? 50% shotgun? I've told you. You heard it here first. Rumor number 9. I've been telling you about Jim McElwain is going to be the man responsible for the offense, and now I've been told just in the last couple, maybe 24 hours, that Ed Warner and Jim McElwain are going to be co-implementing the game plan. Jim Harbaugh ultimately a final say, but one's going to be calling the passes, McElwain, one's going to be calling the runs. 3 Harbaugh heads on this one. Jim McElwain, former national championship offensive coordinator, 2 national titles at Alabama, former head coach at Colorado State, former head coach at Florida, was fired last year, and Ed Warner, 2014 co-offensive coordinator at Ohio State when they won the national title. So 3 of the last, I think, 7 national championship offensive coordinators are going to be co-leading Michigan's offense as position coaches that will be making the calls on game plan. Jim Harbaugh is coming up with the game plan, assigning it. These guys are going to make sure they have the play ready. When we say, hey, I need a play for 3rd and 16, but McElwain's going to have. Hey, give me a play for 4th and 2, 3rd and 2, a running play. Warner, you got to implement that bad boy. So keep an eye out. Watch them on the sidelines. Are these guys making the calls throughout the game? And does it make an impact after last year's offensive disaster for the University of Michigan? Speaking of offensive, things to watch for tomorrow, what about Shea Patterson? What about him for the Heisman Trophy? I have put my money on it. I put 20 on it to win 320. If you want to bet $10, which I believe is the lowest amount you can bet on something like this, you win $160. It's 60-1 odds. Shea Patterson. These are one of many prop bets. You can bet how many games Michigan will win this season. You can bet all kinds of things. If you think they're going to make a comeback or crush Notre Dame in the second half tomorrow, you can bet at the halftime, which is going to be pretty cool. Chatsports.com/bet redirects you to these guys. BetDSI, our partner for this football season, to bet on football. Some of you don't like betting. That's fine. Just put it on me on mute for the next 5 seconds. If you do want to bet, no better place and no better promo code. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code GOBLUE. They gave us a specific promo code. I think all kinds of Michigan fans use this promo code GOBLUE. So go ahead and make sure you use it. 120% bonus when you sign up and deposit as a new customer with BetDSI. Number 10. Rumor number 10, Ambry Thomas, Michigan's sophomore cornerback. Is he getting snaps at wide receiver? Should we expect him to take plays at wide receiver throughout this season? Well, I am giving this one a 3 Harbaugh heads, ladies and gentlemen. Ambry Thomas, number 1, Michigan's kick returner. A lot of people thought he might compete for a starting cornerback job, even though Michigan's got 2 phenomenal cornerbacks, 2 of the best in the country. Because of Tariq Black, this was actually dabbled with throughout fall camp, and maybe they put him in there every once in a while as a crossover player. He's still a defensive player, but I've been told he's been taking enough snaps, they're putting enough plays, and he's done well enough with the ball in his hands, sometimes in those end arounds, a couple pass plays to him, that he is there for depth. Should guys further down the depth chart not make an impact with Michigan, and also to kind of catch teams off guard. Whoa, who's this number 1? We haven't scouted for this guy. So if he gets any plays tomorrow, I think we'll be super surprised. But throughout the season, keep an eye out for Ambry Thomas being Michigan's next 2-way player, much like Jabril Peppers was in the 2015-2016 season. Ambry Thomas, sophomore out of Detroit, going to be a starter at cornerback in 2019. Should any players go pro, Hill or Long, will be part of the offensive game plan from what I have been told. A grad transfer defensive back is not a factor. A 5th-year guy who was a starter in the Pac-12, not a factor with Michigan. Well, this is one of the more surprising things that I've been told lately. 3 Harbaugh heads is that Casey Hughes, the transfer starting safety from the University of Utah, or University of Utah, the Utah Utes to say the least, is not even a factor with Michigan. Now, things could change. Maybe he's been banged up a little bit. Maybe he hasn't had the attitude issues. Maybe Michigan players are just better than him. But from what I've been told is he's not even been in the 2 deep the last couple of weeks at practice. Some said, hey, I haven't even seen him around the program lately. I'm not sure what's going on with this guy. Some transfer speculations even before the season, which I think would be absurdly odd. I'm not even sure if you can transfer twice in one season. But Casey Hughes, not a factor. The guys who will be the factor, Lavert Hill, David Long, Tyree Cannell, and Josh Metellus will be your starters in the secondary. And we see Brad Hawkins making the big impact there, the backup at both safety positions. So Casey Hughes, not happening at Michigan. Nothing going there for him. Not going to be a factor. You heard it here from Chat Sports. 3 Harbaugh heads on this one. Casey Hughes, if we see anything from him, it's going to be a big-time surprise for me, at least in this game 1 against Notre Dame. Wilton Speight, Michigan's quarterback last 2 seasons is starting. He's starting quarterback? Well, not for Michigan. We all know he transferred, but he is the starting quarterback for UCLA, just announced yesterday. So some of you guys, this may not be news. This may not even be a rumor. It's been rumored for a few weeks that he was, the only upperclassman quarterback that UCLA has, and as such, he's likely to get the job. Maybe he doesn't keep it all year. Maybe it does. Michigan gave him a little congrats on Twitter to UCLA's tweet, which he replied then to. He was like, hey, go beat Notre Dame. Pulling for you guys tomorrow night. So if you see that on Twitter, I retweeted Wilton Speight giving Michigan a little shout out. But Wilton Spate for Harbaugh has FACK. A little nugget I put out on Twitter there a few moments ago that I think is just interesting for people to consider. This is now 2 quarterbacks that have transferred away from Michigan in Jim Harbaugh's era and have started for D1 schools. Of course, Shane Morris at Central Michigan, now Spate at UCLA, and Jim Harbaugh has yet to have one of his own recruits start a season at the quarterback position. Obviously, this is his 4th year. Never has a Harbaugh recruit open the year as starting quarterback. Brandon Peters did get some starts last year, a Harbaugh recruit. Zach Gentry is actually going to have more starts, a quarterback recruit at tight end in a season opener tomorrow night than a Michigan quarterback under Harbaugh, recruited by Harbaugh, will have in his tether. Let's talk about weather. Let's talk about the weather in South Bend. It's been favoring Notre Dame of all the predictions I saw for all week that says, hey, it is going to start pouring rain, thunderstorms right around game time through halftime and maybe beyond. I think with Shea Patterson, this shotgun offense and Michigan wanting to pass the ball more, shorter passes, could it be a detriment to Michigan? Favor Notre Dame with less of a passing game, more of a running attack, more want to keep the score low in defense. Now, this is the forecast right now. Very warm game. The players will not be cold by any means, but 50% chance of rain at halftime. It's going down to 40% chance of rain. At game time, 50%. Halftime, 40%. This definitely favors Notre Dame, but just as we are filming, I looked at the weather report again, is drifting back, and some even saying, like, hey, it's going to drop. As we're getting closer to game time, these meteorologists, prior to Trump, the guys everybody called fake news, these guys are starting to get better predictions. Maybe it's not going to rain, but definitely bring a poncho if you're going to the game like I am. I'm going to be wearing this bad boy, and keep an eye out for rain. You don't want to get soaked, lose your phone, or have your phone get damped and rocked with water. Comment one more time for me, ladies and gentlemen. Comment below, what is your prediction for this game? Predict the score in the comments. Facebook Live, YouTube. But you got to DM me on Twitter. You got to give me your pick on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter yet, I don't know why you're watching the show every week, but go ahead. If anybody gets the score right, which is tough to do, let me just tell you, $25 from me to you, whatever method you want. I'll mail you a check. I'll Venmo you, whatever you want. DM me on Twitter at James T. Yoder. Speaking of James Yoder, that's me, the king of Michigan football. There's a Hurricane Yoder going to South Bend. If you're going to be there, also DM me. If you want to hang out, I'm going to be watching the Ohio State game earlier in the day at a bar in South Bend. If you want to come by and have some beers, this one is FACK. And if you want to check out this amazing suit from Reveal, if you want to find out more about it, if you want to try it on, see if it fits you, if you've got a similar, what am I wearing here, Brett, 30, 40, regular, I can't remember what we sized me up at, email them, info@Reveal Suits, and you can get the pre-sale access to give me $100 off if you order between now and let's just say a couple weeks from now. I'm not going to give you the exact date yet until we've got that confirmed. One more thing I want to tell you about before we go. We've got a Michigan-only YouTube channel. This is still going on the Chat Sports YouTube channel for now. We want to build the subscriber base up because we're going to do some really cool things, exclusive content. I'm going to be doing game watch parties. If we get enough followers, we'll put it on that YouTube channel as well. If you want only Michigan football content, if you want this show every week and some stuff that doesn't go anywhere else, including Facebook or Twitter, this is the channel to go. chatsports.com/Michigan TV. If you click on that URL, it'll take you right to YouTube or the YouTube app to the page. You hit subscribe, and once we hit, let's just say 500, we'll start putting most of our content on that show and some exclusive stuff every single week. We just announced it late last week, so we've got 100 or so followers on that now, and go from there. I am James T. Yoder. I will be in South Bend watching the game. If you're there, hit me on Twitter, and I cannot wait for this game and hope you enjoy it as well.